Epic battles and crazy fight scenes combined with good old emotional romance? We can't think of a better combo. The greatest anime series are a brilliant combination of action and romance, but chances are you've probably seen most of it. Welcome back to Animeology. Today we'll be running through the absolute greatest action romance anime that you probably have not seen before. This is a list you definitely do not want to miss out on.
I've been expecting you.
Number 10, Lord Marksman and Vanadis. An absolutely epic fantasy with a brilliant sense of adventure. Lord Marksman and Vanadis was a series that did not fail to deliver. From an engaging overall story plot to some brilliantly well thought out story arcs, this is not an anime series you want to miss out on. Set in a fictional European country in a time of kings and queens, the small country of Brune is on the verge of a civil war due to the sick and dying king and the intense power struggle between the two heirs. Lord Marksman and Vanadis have one of the most complex and intricate plots we've ever come across, twisting and turning with backstabbers and complications you would not expect. Although the core characters are still very much interesting and exciting to watch, the sheer amount of level of story development makes this a brilliant anime series that is far from predictable. Number 9, Record of Grand Crest War. A rich and colorful world is painted through the countless light novels, manga, and even games in the Record of Grand Crest War series. A world filled with awesome fantasy and epic action sequences, there is a reason why this series has seen nothing but an insane level of success and is soon growing to become one of the largest entertainment franchises out of Japan. We learn of a world that was once ruled by chaos. Chaos used to seriously distort the planet, the laws of nature, and natural disasters. This led to a crazy world filled with demons and cursed people known as the Scourge of Chaos. But a hero emerged and protected whoever was left from the chaos and sealed it. This had huge repercussions around the planet that saw a tremendous shift in power, leading to the creation of epic armies such as the Fantasia Union and the Factory Alliance. This becomes the epic backdrop to the Record of the Grand Crest War and Theo Cornano, a nobleman with insane superhuman powers. With the goal of bringing peace to the land, a natural-born leader, our hero prefers to let his skills and abilities do his talking for him. Number 8, Eden of the East. A brilliant mystery series that will have you scratching your head from twist to twist. More of a political thriller than anything, Eden of the East is a truly psychological series that really tests your understanding of romance at every turn. In a romance action anime series that is seriously underrated and definitely overlooked. The story starts off with a huge missile attack on Japan, with not a single death taking place. Leaving everyone confused as to the point of the attack, a few months pass and we find Akira Takizawa and 11 other randomly selected people forced to be a part of a game in which they can save Japan. We slowly begin to learn the truth behind the mysterious game, organization, and how it all links to the crazy terrorist attack that almost crippled Japan but did not leave a single person dead. With some seriously thought-provoking commentaries and statements in here about society at large, Eden of the East will have you deep in thought long after this anime series is over. Number 7, Granblue Fantasy. Starting off as a highly successful role-playing game, Granblue Fantasy impressed the world with a seriously imaginative and well-designed world with a lot of backstories and some awesome lore. Not surprising from the same creators behind the highly successful Final Fantasy series. The game itself has a turn-based fighting system with characters able to use magic powers and summon powerful beasts, taking part and using magic that extends through wind, water, fire, earth, light, and darkness. The anime itself follows a long-running manga a lot more closely, with some brilliant action and some legitimate romance behind it. We get an awesome look at some brilliant stories from within the Granblue Fantasy universe. following a bunch of awesome characters like Gran, Lyria, and Vern on their epic adventures through this brilliant fantasy world, filled with insane action, tear-jerking drama, and heartfelt romance. This is a brilliant anime adaptation that you definitely need to check out. Number 6. Kami-sama Kiss. One of the most seriously underrated series around, Kami-sama Kiss brings a joyous and hilarious romantic comedy with some really fun and enjoyable supernatural elements to it. A decently successful manga with some absolutely brilliant anime seasons, Kami-sama Kiss is a watch that you will not regret. Following the story of Nanami Momozono, a high school girl who dreams of an average and normal life, but is forced to deal with the fact that her father is a problem gambler that has accumulated a huge amount of gambling debt in her name. She can't afford to pay the rent and is forced out of her apartment by debt collectors. Now homeless and having faced all these heavy and horrible situations, Nanami maintains a kind heart and positive outlook. While thinking about her life on a random park bench, she encounters a strange man hanging from a tree having been chased by a dog. After saving him, the mysterious stranger rewards Nanami with a home, showing her that good deeds do go rewarded. We soon learn that he is a godlike being and makes Nanami a deity as well. Her life takes a huge turn for the better, and the series develops in interesting ways with a brilliantly intimate and engaging romance at its core. A series quite unlike any other that you cannot help but watch with a huge smile across your face. Definitely check out Kami-sama Kiss. Number 5. Horizon in the Middle of Nowhere. Starting off as a long-running light novel series into a highly successful manga series, even a video game, but a seriously overlooked anime. Horizon in the Middle of Nowhere is a top-class action romance series that a lot of people seem to forget. The story itself is set in the distant future. We learn of humanity forced to leave the absolutely destroyed Earth and travel into outer space. Humans are forced to come back to Earth and find most of it uninhabitable, except for Japan. Humanity is desperate to return back to space and start reenacting human history in an effort to advance our technologies back to interstellar travel. This is some seriously high-concept science fiction that is just as awesome as it sounds. A brilliant excuse to show us some awesome action set all across human history. With the threat of an apocalypse on the horizon and the desire to save the human race, Horizon in the Middle of Nowhere manages to blend together brilliant action and romance into a seriously forgotten anime series that you need to check out for yourself. Number 4. Vampire Knight. A fantastic dark fantasy and supernatural series with a seriously epic and intense romance in the middle. Vampire Knight is a bit more on the emotional and wistful side, but that helps make it one of the greatest action romance animes that you should definitely be checking out. We meet Yuki and learn one of her earliest memories was on a stormy and scary winter night in which a rogue vampire attacked her, but she was saved by Kaname Kuran, a pure-blood vampire. The story picks up 10 years later, and Yuki is now the adopted daughter of the headmaster of the Elite Cross Academy, and is now a guardian of the vampire race, having developed a crush and some heavy romantic feelings for her childhood savior, Kaname. A group of vampires at an elite boarding school, Vampire Knight throws in a lot more interesting elements into the mix. With Zero Kiryu, another love interest for Yuki, a childhood friend that finds it hard to trust or care for anything else. These vampires like to boast and claim that they no longer murder and kill, but are they being honest? Or is the truth much darker than we could ever imagine? A world of secrets, lies, and deceit. Who can Yuki really trust? You're going to need to watch The Vampire Knight for yourself in order to find out. Number 3. Basilisk. An extremely unique historical type anime with a strong influence of awesome martial arts fighting as well as some cool fantasy elements. Basilisk is a brilliant anime series based on a classic novel written way back in the 50s. The story itself takes place in 1614 and tries to be as historically authentic as possible. We learn of vicious ninja clans that face off and battle against each other in an attempt to determine the shogun and ruler of the lands. We see a crazy competition between 10 extremely elite ninjas from each clan unfold, through a hatred and blood feud that has lasted centuries, destroying each other and all those around them. There is a lot going on here, from some intense intertwining bloodlines to awesome backstabbing and a lot of twists and turns. There's even a Romeo and Juliet type love story thrown into the mix. Basilisk is an anime series that definitely has a little something in it for everybody. Number 2. Yona of the Dawn. One of the most epic fantasy anime series you will ever come across, with an awesome sense of adventure alongside a beautifully told romance. Yona of the Dawn is an anime that operates on a completely different level from most anime series. With a seriously heavy and intense backstory, humanity was almost brought to extinction by a powerful world-ending dragon god, defeated by 4 insanely powerful dragon warriors splitting off to form their own unique tribes. This awesome backstory sets the base for Yona of the Dawn, as we follow Yona, a princess that lives a lavish and sheltered life, protected by her bodyguard and visited by her crush and romantic interests. But we soon learn that her home is nowhere near as stable as Yona thinks, with political overthrowing just around the corner. Some intense plot twists that we're not going to spoil here. Yona soon becomes a fugitive that is forced to go on the run, learning more and more in detail about this legendary myth and these fabled warriors as she starts to believe that they might be the key to saving her country. Number 1. Beyond the Boundary. A brilliant dark fantasy series with a strong romance at its core and some interesting use of the supernatural. Beyond the Boundary is a series that is not afraid to explore the heavy emotional weight of its main 2 characters, especially its female lead, Mirai Kuriyama. Mirai is a first-year high schooler with short pink hair. She wears glasses and is definitely beautiful in her own right. She has the powerful ability to manipulate blood, but extended use of her powers leads to severe anemia. She is extremely depressed and feels isolated from the rest of society, and actually attempts to commit suicide at the start of the series due to her insanely tragic past. Constantly mocked and made fun of after posting the struggles of her life on her blog and Twitter account. With few friends by her side and living a life filled with regret, we can't help but feel such immense sorrow for Mirai, no matter how powerful she actually is.